and welcome to yet another lesson. And today's lesson is going to prove to be very valuable for you. It's all about tips to ace your job interview. That's right, I'm Rima and I'm going to be with you. I'm going to talk about these fabulous tips that you can use to ace your job interview and come out with flying colors and land your dream job. So the first tip to ace your job interview is obviously get the interview. Now, if you don't have an interview lined up, there's no way you're going anywhere to give an interview. So the first thing to do is to make a list of the organizations or companies that you want to work with and check with them, whether there is a relevant opening. Or you could even send out your resume to them on email or via mail and wait for their response. So if you take the action of contacting the relevant companies and organizations, that's when they're going to get in touch with you and invite you for an interview. So the first step is of prime importance. First, get the interview. Now the second tip to ace your job interview is rock the resume. That's right. Now imagine you've sent out your resume to the company that you really want to work for, but they just don't like you, meaning they don't like you on paper because your resume is drab, boring and dull, and it does not describe how fantastic and efficient you can be as an employee, which means you are in trouble. So the first thing to do is make sure that your resume just rocks. So in order to make your resume rock, what you have to do is you have to keep it simple, brief, to the point. At the same time, it should actually list out and describe all your achievements and important qualities that you want the employer to notice. And once you're sure that your resume absolutely rocks, which means it's short, simple, crisp and efficient, just let it fly. Well, moving on, I have the next tip for you, and this one is a little bit tedious because it is prepare, prepare and prepare. That's right. Preparation is important, preparation is key, and preparation well ahead of time is also very important. So if you're going for an interview and you've been given the date and the time, what you need to do is you need to start preparing right away. So when I say prepare, I actually mean you need to list out on paper a list of your valuable qualities, the ones that you would like to highlight while talking in the interview. You would also want to list out important points and important achievements related to the company that you're interviewing with, so that when you meet your potential boss or interviewer, you actually appeared very clued in about what the company is all about, and you appear very interested. And it doesn't matter if you burn the midnight oil when you're preparing, because trust me, it's going to pay off when you land your dream job. So don't forget, prepare, prepare and prepare. Up next, another tip for you in order to ace your job interview. Super duper important. Make a killer first impression. That's right. Now imagine you've gotten lucky and you've actually got your interview lined up. What are you going to do about it? You have to make sure that you're making the best possible first impression, because first impressions are very long lasting. So you have to definitely make sure that you're showing up on time. In fact, if you show up before time and you wait, in order to be called in for the interview, that will show the employer that you value the employer's time and are quite earnest and keen to work with the company. Now, the next thing you could do, and you must do, is make sure you're dressed extremely professionally and very well dressed at that, so that when the employer meets you, You actually give out a fantastic positive vibe, because who doesn't want positive people in their company, right? And the third thing you should do is you should watch your body language. So when you're sitting down for your interview, you don't want to be pondering, lost in your own world. You don't want to be slouching like you're lazy, bored or tired. You want to appear alert, but not over alert. So be very careful and maintain that balance. And if at all you end up shaking hands with your employer, make sure it's a firm, positive handshake. So yes, first impressions do count, and make sure you make a killer one. Now the next tip on my list, which will help you definitely ace your dream job interview, is tackle the tough questions. Now don't expect each interview of yours to be like, a walk in the garden or a cakewalk. Sometimes the employer or your potential employer is going to throw some tough questions at you. Make sure you have prepared well so that you're able to field off and handle these questions very well and make a positive impression. Like for example, your potential employer might ask you, so why is it that you quit your last job? Now don't go and say something like, I could not take my boss anymore, which is why I ran for my life, because that will make you appear very unprofessional. You could say something like, I have been wanting to explore new horizons and new opportunities for a while now, and I thought it was time. Because if you answer in this manner, it actually shows you in a positive light. It shows that you are passionate about your work and quite ambitious. So make sure you make a list of the potential tough questions that might be thrown at you in an interview, and you have positive, well-prepared answers for these. And also, when you're giving the answers, make sure you don't sound like you're reading out of a book, because then the employer is going to know that you had this in your mind already. Just make it sound natural and positive and friendly. So yes, that tip is very important. Tackle the tough questions, become a pro at it. Now another important tip if you really want to ace your job interview is use the question mark. That's right. So definitely you're going to have a lot of questions thrown at you. But in the end, they might ask you something like, so, do you have any questions for us? And if you just sit back and say, no, nothing, I'm good, it shows you in a slightly, too casual sort of a light. You might want to have one or two key questions prepared to ask your potential employer, because again, that will make you come off as interested and completely clued in about your role in the company. So you could probably ask them something related to the role that you're going to take up, like, I would like more information on what are the key responsibility areas of my job profile. So now once you ask them something like this, it's a conversation point. There's no conversation going to happen. The employer is going to get to know you better. At the same time, you're going to appear very interested and clued in. So make sure you don't forget to use a question mark. Now the next tip that I'm going to share with you is very valuable. It's called serve the good dish. Now imagine if you're going to a restaurant, you'll obviously order the good dish, the delicious one, and not the not so good dish, right? Similarly, in front of your employer, you will want to mention all your good qualities, all your valuable assets, which will prove a benefit to the company. So now while describing your own qualities, make sure you're not sounding like you're showing off or like you're boasting, but at the same time, do not show yourself in a negative light. Make sure you're talking about yourself confidently and positively. When you're earnest, confident and positive, And most importantly, when you're convinced that whatever you're saying is actually the truth, that's when the employer is going to get convinced to hire you for your dream job. So remember, make sure you serve the good dish and highlight all your positive qualities without appearing arrogant or overconfident. Now the next thing I want to tell you, which is a great tip that I think everybody must remember if they wish to ace their job interview, is follow up but do not stalk. That's right. So once your interview is over and you've taken leave and come back home, don't think that your work or your job is done. You need to follow up with the company or with the interviewer to know the results of your interview, because most probably your interview is going to be busy, and depending on the urgency of hiring, he may or may not get in touch with you quickly. But your job is not done. Make sure you're following up, and that too following up in the right manner, which means you cannot keep calling them every day incessantly. You cannot keep emailing them continuously, because that would amount to stalking, and trust me, you're never going to land that job. But the important thing is, what you need to do is, you need to keep in touch with a sense of dignity and professional distance. So you can send one email, which starts with a thank you note and then inquiring as to what they thought of you as a prospective candidate for the job. Or else you could also send a small handwritten thank you note, because that's kind of old school, but yes, that could earn you a lot of points. Or else a text message just inquiring if they have made up their mind, or a phone call. But I think if you're going to call up, you should definitely wait at least a week before talking to your potential employer, because you don't want to come across as over-eager and desperate for the job. So make sure you're doing the follow-up, but not stalking. Now the last tip on my list for today in order to ace your dream job interview is, in case, and it could happen, in case it's a no-go, look ahead. That's right. So if it happens, that you don't get hired for that particular job, the first thing to do is not lose hope. Always look ahead. Start once again from action number 1, which means sending out your resume one more time to a different employer, and start trying your luck again. Because trust me, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. And also, one more important thing that you can do is you can actually ask this potential employer who did not hire you as to why you were not hired. So if at all, you frankly ask for feedback, and trust me, there are many helpful people out there who will give you frank feedback. Take that feedback with a pinch of salt, but remember that you can make improvements and ace the next interview that's coming your way. Well, it's time for me, Rima, to take your leave, and this is the end of today's lesson. I hope you now feel very, very confident and equipped to ace your dream job interview. Now, in case you want access to more such lessons, make sure you subscribe to our channel. In case you want to add some more tips or talk to me, make sure you write in the comment box below. I'm going to catch you very soon. Till then, be confident and ace that interview.